In Massachusetts, we're learning more details about the investigation into the husband of a missing mother, Ana Walshe. Law enforcement sources tell CNN that investigators found her husband, Brian's recent internet search history included, quote, how to dispose of a 115-pound woman's body and how to dismember a body. Ana Walshe was last seen by a family member southeast of Boston around 4 in the morning on New Year's Day. Her husband is now in jail and accused of misleading investigators. He was in court yesterday for his arraignment on that misleading charge. Let's watch what happened in court.
Your Honor, the charge before the court right now, the defendant is charged under the intimidation, that being misleading the police in the course of an investigation. The investigation was into the missing person of Ana Walshe. Ana is the wife of this defendant. She's 37 years old. They have 3 children, 2, 4, and 6. Ana Walshe was last seen on New Year's Day. In the course of the investigation, it was determined that her cell phone pinged in the area of the house, which is located on Chief Justice Cushing Way, that her phone pinged on the 1st and the 2nd, which is after the defendant had said she had left. Additionally, the defendant right now was on house arrest, pending sentencing in federal court. Part of that probation and condition, he was to report his whereabouts if he was to leave the house. He indicated as part of the investigation when police spoke with him that on January 1st he went to his mother's house. However, it took him a lot longer because he got lost going to his mother's house in Swampscott. He also subsequently indicated and stated to the police that he went to Whole Foods and CVS. Police subsequently did surveillance and checked. There was no surveillance or indication that he went to Whole Foods nor CVS. He indicated he purchased some items. There's no receipts for him having purchased that. He then returned home. Surveillance was checked by several police during this time frame. These statements caused a lot of delay as part of the investigation, as police now were focusing on the North Shore. He further indicated that on January 2nd, as he was supposed to report in, that the only time he left is that he went to take his son for some ice cream. Surveillance checked during the investigation indicated that the defendant, in fact, on January 2nd, sometime after 4 o'clock, went to the Home Depot, which is in Auckland. He's on surveillance at that time, purchasing about $450 worth of cleaning supplies. That would include mops, bucket, tops, T-Vex, drop cloths, as well as various kinds of tape. He's on surveillance at that time on January 2nd, even though he said he never left the house. The police obtained a search warrant and actually searched the house with crime scene services. During that time, they found blood in the basement. Blood was found in the basement area, as well as a knife, which also contained some blood.
Could you repeat that last sentence?
Yes, in the basement, crime scene services recovered and found blood in the basement area, in a section of the basement. There was also a knife that was found. On the knife, there was also blood, and part of the knife was damaged. Your Honor, these various statements caused a delay in the investigation, to the point that during the time frame when he didn't report his wife and gave various statements, that allowed him time to either clean up evidence, dispose of evidence, in causing a delay. As of this time, Ana Walshe has not been found. So because of that, the Commonwealth is asking $500,000 cash bail. At this time, these are the charges.
All right, Brian Walshe, obviously suspect number 1 here in his missing wife, disappearance of his wife, Ana Walshe. 3 kids, 6 and under, 3 boys. Still with us, trial attorney Ann Bremner in Seattle. And this doesn't look good for Mr. Walshe. There's late reporting this morning that there was a few items found at the waste transfer facility where investigators have focused their efforts over the last 24 hours. This is a case, but the state does have time on their side. You know, he has an ankle bracelet on from this other incident. Right now he's in jail on this $500,000 bond. So as long as they have him on something, they could take their time, can they not, preparing a case? They don't necessarily need a body.
Well, exactly. And there's actually, I think, a website called nobody.com in terms of nobody cases that were successfully prosecuted. And we've seen that, around the country, that they can take their time. I was just looking at the headline of the Daily Mail this morning, the hatchet, a rug, the $450 worth of cleaning supplies, the internet searches. I mean, so far, so good in terms of building a prosecution without a body. I mean, the fact that she has those 3 kids, 3 sons, that alone, the fact that she hasn't contacted them, I think for most jurors would indicate that she would have to be deceased to stay away from her family. But it's getting to be a strong case.
Yeah, and that's where time does help. After X amount of time with no contact, the odds of her running off to start a new life become very, very slim for the average person with any intelligence, and also gives them time, now that he is incarcerated, to find her body, and they are all in on something like this. If you're representing him, obviously you just don't talk, I guess, because he doesn't seem to be helping out with this investigation.
Yeah, I mean, I would tell him definitely don't talk. I mean, even if he wants to talk, he seems like he thinks he's a charmer a little bit. He looks a lot different here than he looked in his picture in the Daily Mail and in the press. But I think that art issues on fraud, etc., he thinks he's a smooth talker, but it's not going to work. He needs to be quiet. Like I said, a closed mouth gathers no foot. And see where the evidence takes us. But right now, he's not going to help himself at all, trying to explain away those incriminating items.
When a case becomes a high profile, it changes the dynamic as well, too, because it does light a fire underneath everybody, from the low-level, investigator assistants to the prosecution team. And in these types of cases, you're going to get resources, are you not? And do you think at the end of the day they're going to find her?
I do. I just wrote a book about this with my brother. It's called Justice in the Age of Judgment. I'm not trying to plug my book, but I'm basically saying when you have a high-profile case, conclusions are made right away. There's confirmation bias. But you also have people out there that can come in with all kinds of information, whether it be good or bad. Look at the Idaho case with the web sleuths. But on the other hand, a lot of information came in about the defendant in that case because it's high profile. And sure, it lights a fire under prosecutors. So when it's a high profile case, they're going to work even harder to make sure that they get a conviction.